so much to support us and to make it easier for Jonah to live with T1D. Last year at the Hope Gala, Jonah was an ambassador, and when the evening was over, he said that he was sure there would be a cure for T1D with all the money raised in the room that night. Then, in the fall, he participated in the One Walk. He had a team of 80 people. Almost his whole 5th grade class came out with their families. And all sorts of other friends and relatives came to support him. And even his sister, Tessa, who was 8 at the time, ended up having a very successful fundraiser at their school to make sure that Jonah would meet his goal. Team Jonah raised over $25,000 at that walk. And that day, Jonah felt like a rock star. I thank JDRF for giving these events, not only to raise money and awareness for an important cause, but for giving my grandson a chance to feel so special. And tonight also gives Jonah a chance to feel special, as it does everybody with T1D, and to feel supported by all of us. I give Jonah so much credit for how he approaches life with T1D every hour of every day. So here he is to tell you his story.
Can everyone hear me? Cool, okay. Hi there. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Jonah Cohen, and I'm 11 years old. There is a new word I've learned since being diagnosed with type 1. And you all probably think the word I'm going to say is basal, bolus, or ketones. But the word I'm thinking of is spontaneous. The definition of spontaneous is proceeding naturally without outside constraint. Free. I'm going to do my English teacher suggests and use it in a sentence. Before I got diagnosed with type 1, my life was spontaneous and free. Before I got type 1, I could freely pour a bowl of cereal without weighing it or figuring out the number of carbs in it, and I wouldn't have to wait 15 minutes to eat it. I could spontaneously decide to go to a friend's house for a sleepover without massive arrangements and training being done beforehand. I could play a game of soccer where my main concern will be trying to make a goal instead of keeping up with my blood sugar. Even my sleep is no longer spontaneous. Instead, my mom has to wake me up all hours of the night to, wait, sorry, wrong line. Even my sleep is no longer spontaneous. Instead of just going to bed, I first have to check my blood sugar. Then I might have to wait to go to sleep because I might need more sugar, or I might have to wait for the insulin to kick in. Even my dreams are no longer free. Instead, my mom sticks a straw in my mouth and orders me to drink juice. Ugh. You see, here's the thing about type 1. It just doesn't stop. It's with you every minute, every hour of the day, and it requires constant responsibility. It was 2 years ago when my life stopped being spontaneous, and it began with really bad stomach aches. My mom took me to a ton of doctors, but no one knew what was going on. One said it was anxiety, another said it was a stomach bug, and then I began to pee a lot, and I was constantly thirsty. Sometimes I wake up 3 to 4 times a night to use the bathroom and drink more water. At school, some teachers stopped letting me use the bathroom because they thought I was faking it. We knew something was wrong, but we couldn't figure out what it was. On April 11th, my parents took me back to the doctor with these new symptoms. They tested my blood sugar, and it was at 480. And then they admitted me to the hospital for 3 nights with type 1 diabetes. With type 1, I went from needing 1 to 2 shots a year at my checkup, like a normal person, from 5 to 7 shots a day. And still to this day, I hate shots. I know everybody says that, but for me, I had an actual phobia. So my parents and I came up with a system. I would count to 2, and then they would give me the shot. For your information, I do not recommend this system. I'd scream and cry for a full 30 to 40 minutes between saying the number 1 and 2. But that was the only way that I felt that I'd let my parents come near me. It was the only way that I felt that I still had some control. Just when I finally got the injections down, I was introduced to 2 new devices: the continuous glucose monitor, or CGM for short, and the insulin pump. I knew in the long run, these devices will help make things easier for me, but each involved another needle and an insertion to get used to. The transition to the CGM wasn't that bad, mostly because it required my parents to buy me an iPhone. But the pump insertion, well, that was a little harder for me to get used to. My mom wanted to show me that I could do it. So even though she doesn't have type 1, she walked around with a pump set and inserted it in her own stomach for 2 weeks before I finally felt comfortable enough for her to put one on me. When I was diagnosed, I was the first kid with type 1 at my school. I felt so different and alone. But then my family got involved with JDRF. And I went to my very first JDRF 1 walk, and I realized how many others there are, just like me. Last year, I spoke at many tech companies in the Bay Area to help raise awareness for the walk. I got involved with JDRF advocacy, and I even did a press conference with Nancy Pelosi. I also went to my very first JDRF Hope Gala, and just like its name, it truly gave me hope for a cure. And standing here right now, talking to all of you, feels like I'm helping to make a difference. These experiences have been great, and my parents say I've become so strong and resilient. But if I could, I'd trade it all in for just 1 day without type 1. 1 day where I could be spontaneous and free. I was diagnosed recently enough where I could remember what it was like before. And that's been a really hard adjustment that I won't wish on anyone. A dream that I have is not a single soul will have to live with type 1. I want to be able to say that I used to have type 1. Looking out at all of you, I can see that you share my dream. I'm only 11, but I will do what I can to help. And tonight, I'm asking you to join me. Please consider donating to JDRF tonight. Thank you for helping to make my dream, our dream, a reality.
That's for you. He's standing up for you, bud. Standing up. You did a great job, Jonah. If you want to go, yes, you can. Wow. What a remarkable young man. I said, stay here. This standing ovation for you. Thank you. Can I go now? What a neat young man. Thank you, Jonah, for sharing your story. And ladies and gentlemen,